you duct taped a disabled kid's mouth shut?
Yes, I did.
10 most out of control Dr. Phil guests. This just got physical. But before we begin, we hope to see you stay until the end, as you won't want to miss what we have to show you in today's video. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell to get notified of future videos, and leave a comment to be entered into our $100 Amazon gift card giveaway.
Chris loves me.
You both love the same guy.
Number 10. The Love Triangle. Now, both in love with the same man, Eileen and Sandy would eventually find themselves at a crossroads. Unfortunately, any love shared for Chris was unrequited, and aside from the benefit of shared parenthood with Sandy, didn't really like either woman.
Did you ask her to marry you?
Not that I can recall.
That's the typical love story with a sad ending. You know, man meets woman, they marry, they have a baby, and then they divorce. Sandy takes the tree, prompting Chris to move out and find Eileen as his new roommate and, wait for it, lover. And while the feeling of shared parenthood is mutual between Chris and Sandy, Eileen thought that there was more to their relationship.
You said she's a fat lesbian whore.
Yes.
Yeah, she was the real jealous type. So believing Sandy had gotten in the way of their friends with benefits situation, Eileen then resorted to online stalking and making dozens of fake Facebook profiles to harass her and falsely called Child Protective Services on Sandy for abuse and being neglectful of the kids. As it turns out though, Eileen harassed her ex-husband in the same way.
You're biting me! Stop it! You are biting me!
Number 9. Mackenzie. Just 9 years old at the time, Mackenzie proved to be quite the handful as shown through a series of home videos. And in the videos, a majority of the time when we see Mackenzie, she's either screaming or fussing or hitting or biting her own mother. These violent tantrums only got worse over time because Mackenzie has recently thrown scissors at her teacher, clawed her younger brother's eye over a car seat, and regularly topples her cousin's crib, kicking her siblings and more. Worse still is that she has, on occasion, purposely stood in traffic. Despite undergoing quote-unquote professional treatment for her disturbing behavioral tendencies, medical and psychiatric, there hasn't been much help. But by the end of it, Dr. Phil figured the problem stemmed from the parents' way of raising Mackenzie, or rather a lack thereof.
I am the beautiful vegan messiah.
Number 8. Vegan Hans, aka the sexy vegan. Now, it's important to show love and support toward your own family, but we strongly feel that this one was an exception. One of the more perplexing characters mentioned in this video is Sexy Vegan, also known as Vegan Hans or Vegan Messiah, who often enjoys comparing himself to a Lamborghini SV.
I wear a Speedo-esque outfit, and I'm exotic like a Lamborghini SV.
Has his own name repeatedly tattooed all over his body, and can almost always be seen wearing a Speedo in the streets. And he's also been arrested a staggering 15 times, racking up more than $80,000 in legal fees for his mother. On the other hand, though, he also makes his out-of-control appearance on Dr. Phil a memorable one when he introduces himself with his own theme song, berates his mother on national television for not sharing his father's inheritance, and then attempts to convince us that he is too good-looking.
I got 9.9 out of 10 after 327 women rated me. Let's see your talent. Let's see your talent, you ugly piece of
and way too talented to be working a regular 9 to 5. You know, because a 9.9 rating on Hot or Not totally holds up in the real world. Also, we doubt that it's true, and he does all of this before finally being escorted off the stage by security.
What I don't like about you is the way that you treat me, the way that sometimes you act like I just don't exist.
Number 7. Noah. In a segment from the short-lived Dr. Phil House Brat Camp series, one shocking moment comes from an interaction between 10-year-old Noah and his mother, Wendy. Understandably, the family had just gotten over a loss 3 years before, which might explain Noah's crude behavior and constantly getting in trouble at school, mostly for fighting, once even with the principal. Now, additionally, Noah's accused his own mother of being abusive and called Child Protective Services several times. More accusations from Noah come flying out during filming, prompting him to cuss out and slap his own mother.
Let me speak. How does that feel? How does that feel? Do not.
Talk about a shock.
You duct taped a disabled kid's mouth shut.
Yes, I did.
What the hell are you thinking?
Number 6. Courtney. Everyone has a trigger, you know, that point of rage. And for some, it takes a lot to get on their nerves. But if you so much as breathe around Courtney, you might end up being sorry. Along a long, very long list of incidents from high school, which included fistfights, once punching the principal in the face, several suspensions, and an expulsion, this 17-year-old was actually proud of being a bully.
Well, one time I bullied she was like a little geek. I just bullied her every day so badly. I just said such mean things to her.
On a regular basis, she would instinctively torment any random person that she didn't like. One even being a disabled student whose mouth she taped shut.
I harassed this one boy. He's disabled or whatever. And I would be shut up. And he would just be like, ooh.
And a girl who'd eventually change schools. From being physical with her own mother to death threats to extensively drinking and using drugs, Courtney was one bad girl. Towards the end of a segment, though, we saw generally calmer Courtney.
Sometimes I get angry because I'm hurt or I feel disrespected, but sometimes...
And in a follow-up, she seemed like an overall better person.
Madison drinks, smokes weed, does Xanax, just recently LSD, and now she's corrupting our 13-year-old.
Number 5. Madison. In an episode from early 2017, 17-year-old Madison was confronted by her parents, Tom and Karen, and of course Dr. Phil, about her obsessive drinking and drug use, which included Xanax, LSD, and other things, as well as several counts of Grand Theft Auto and constant abuse over her own father, Tom. Now, overall, Madison's probably had the police called on her more than 100 times, but what's worse is the terrible influence she's having on her 13-year-old sister, Liz.
I'm gonna Snapchat you, that's embarrassing.
Supposedly, Madison has also written up a purge list, which Karen and Tom found that they were at the top of. Despite all of the controversy, Madison still compares herself to any other teenager. I must have missed out on a lot of my teenage years then.
Women are self-destructive and they're closed-minded. That's why I say men are better than women.
Number 4. Dick Masterson. Now, there's never been a name that fits a personality so well. As male chauvinist, Dick genuinely believes that men are better in every way, practically dehumanizing women. Dr. Phil brought on this mess in hopes of opening his eyes that neither sex is better or worse. Instead, the majority of the episode would feature a compilation of yelling and booing and nonstop arguments between him and the audience. And when that wasn't happening, he'd promote his book, his podcast, or even his website. The episode turned out to be so controversial that it was actually pulled from the air.
I don't see any women lined up to you, and I would definitely be at the end of that line.
Well, if you hit the treadmill a little more, you'd be at the front. What was that?
I didn't hear you because I'm sure it was something stupid, and I'm glad I didn't hear you.
Never mentioned by Dr. Phil again, and is fairly difficult to find a full video of online.
She says to get big boobs and to have a lot of sex because if you don't, that your loved one will end up leaving you.
Number 3, Mary Ann. So let's say you go to a strip club about 15 years ago and then you finally tell your wife. 15 years later. What's the logical reaction? Well, it probably wasn't this.
Obsessive changes to her body. Cutting her hair, dyeing her hair, getting a large back tattoo, started drinking, getting plastic surgery. She's really freaking out. She's way obsessive over it. Every day.
Understandably, Dr. Phil guest Marianne felt betrayed and unappreciated following the news her husband had given, eventually leading to self-doubt about her own appearance. So, naturally, tramp stamps, alcohol, and stripper poles in the living room were only the beginning for this mom when she also decided to get breast implants as well. It's really bad though when you talk your own 19-year-old daughter into getting a boob job, and that's to keep her boyfriend around. She'd have to sleep with him constantly. In her mind, Marianne was in a bad spot, believing that men only ever want a pretty face.
Our 12-year-old daughter, Aneska, looks very cute and innocent, but she holds our whole family in a constant state of crisis.
Number 2. Aneska. Appearing in a 2016 episode of Dr. Phil, 12-year-old Aneska and her parents were brought onto the show to discuss her rather aggressive tendencies, to put it lightly. Now, at first glance during the segment, you wouldn't expect much of Aneska. However, her family and the state of panic that she puts them through would say otherwise. In a long list of psychotic acts, Aneska has chased family and friends with knives, has aggressively choked her own sister, and even enjoys setting fire to the furniture and other things. And on a more terrifying note, she supposedly killed the family's former hamster with a flashlight, as well as a nest of baby birds that she found outside the home. Now, understandably, Aneska's parents have feared for the worst, believing these problems stem from a moment of head trauma after she fell off her tricycle at a young age. In turn, Aneska claims to hear the voice of a soldier, whom tells her to do everything that she does. It's definitely one of Dr. Phil's more severe cases on the show.
I don't behave, I'm disrespectful. I steal cars.
Number 1. Danielle Bregoli. Yeah, we all know about this one. To become a meme takes a lot of talent, but to do it by standing out on Dr. Phil is something else. Danielle Bregoli first made internet headlines in 2016 after spewing out the phrase, "Catch me outside, how about that?"
Catch me outside, how about that?
And the rest is history. Despite finding success over the internet and in music, as a 13-year-old back then, the clip was still pretty shocking for a whole lot of people. She even admits on television that she's stolen credit cards and cars, all while laughing it off. What's even more is that she does it in a ridiculous voice. In actuality, Danielle talks big, but we couldn't see her actually fighting that audience, or even her own mother for that matter. I mean, come on. You're too lazy to talk coherently, you're certainly not gonna win a fight. And with that being said, it concludes 10 of Dr. Phil's most out-of-control guests. Feel free to comment down below what you thought about today's video and leave a like. Also, don't forget to subscribe, push that notification bell to see more film-focused videos like this one in the future, and have yourselves an excellent day.